Do you enjoy going to Moulin Rouge as much as we do? Better yet, do you like going to concerts and sporting events?
SeatGeek helps people easily purchase tickets to these kind of events and unites people like you and us through live entertainment.
And things just got easier for you. As proud partners of SeatGeek, you can use our exclusive promo code CANCAN10 and you'll get $10 off of any purchase that is $250 or over.
Hey Lily, you've been eyeing up that can seat for a while now.
You're so right, Jules. I think I'm gonna go purchase it right now and use our code for a discount. Do you want to join?
Hell yeah.
Again, that's CANCAN10 to get $10 off of any purchase that is $250 or over. Only valid for your first purchase. Hi guys, welcome back to Can Talks. This is episode 34. It's your girl Lily and your girl Jules. And we have no announcements today because we are recording this episode the day after we recorded our previous episode. But we do have a very special guest. I was going to say super special guest, and then I almost combined the two. Anyway,
she's super special to
she is
me,
also
so.
super special as well. Yeah. So, gonna be a really fun time. I'm super excited for it. So Jules, do you want to take it away with the background?
Yeah, so we have Nicci Claspell today on the podcast. So Nicci is currently the tour Arabia, but she's taking her final bow this weekend, September 22nd, and then she's joining the Broadway company on October 1st. It's her Broadway debut. But before coming into the world of Moulin Rouge, Nicci also performed in a few things. So she performed in Dogfight, American Idiot, the first national tour. She was in Cabaret. She was in Romeo and Juliet, Love is a Battlefield. She has had quite a few roles. I did my, I did my research.
Dogfight is so good.
Yeah, she's also she has some television and film credits as well. She was in Anger Management, as well as Zombo, which I actually don't know what that is. I'm so awful. And oh, she was also in Untold Stories of the ER, and I love that. I love all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so we are gonna be interviewing her today. So
Super exciting.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's always exciting to have a Broadway debut. Good. I think Jules broke her mic.
I did. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh no.
What a
It's fine,
way
it's fine.
to go into an
What a way to
episode.
go. All right, anyway, let's where did you go? I can't find you.
Wait, I'm here.
Um, oh, there you are. There you are. There you are. I don't know what happened. Anyway,
Here's our interview with
let's
Nicci.
let's get into it.
So we're here with Nicci. Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for
Hi, Nicci.
thank you
Sorry.
for no, you're good. Thank you for joining us today. We're so
I'm
excited.
so happy to be here. I'm so thrilled that you asked me to be on your podcast.
And as you know, I mean, this is coming out like next week, but obviously this is your final week as Arabia on tour.
Yes.
So it's probably quite an emotional week for you, leaving your tour family.
It is. It's starting to be bittersweet. Like there's such a range of emotions leaving a show. I don't know if I have left a show like this before. They usually just like close and I'm done. So leaving a show, making that decision has been weird. Like, why would you leave something, this amazing show, like a steady paycheck, these wonderful people, but it's just like, being out on the road for so long is exhausting and the exhaustion compounds. It's not like you reset every week. It just keeps kind of piling on. So yeah, it's like a relief, but it's also now it's starting to be like, oh, but I really do love these people, this show, like what we get to do and what we get to like spread across the country. So bittersweet for sure.
But on like the other hand, you're making your Broadway debut.
But I'm
in
making my
like
Broadway
2 weeks. So
Yeah.
like it's like, yeah, it's bittersweet. Also, I'm going to Broadway. So that's pretty, that must
Yeah,
be like a dream come true. So
it is. It is. It's
and like to make it with like do your Broadway debut with this show as well. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into some questions. So we'll ask our questions and then we have some fan questions as well. So Lily, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. So we always start off with what was your audition story?
so 2019. I was doing a gig in Hong Kong, singing jazz and blues at a really fancy like hotel bar, and I got an audition request, and my manager told me that they probably weren't looking at tapes, but let's just do it anyway. So I was like in my hotel room, did this tape. I'm like, I care only so much because who knows if they'll watch this, and completely forgot about it. So that was like, I don't know, October, November of 2019, and then after that, a friend of mine convinced me to move to New York. I was like, you know what? Sure, why not? I have like stockpiled a little bit of money. I can stay there for a few months, just see what happens. And it turned out I got a call back for Moulin Rouge like the day after I got there. And they initially saw me for Satine, and then after that, they started seeing me for Arabia and Satine understudy. Um, yeah, the initial callback went well. Then there was like a movement call for Lady M stuff, but it wasn't even, it was like, here, we're going to teach you this dance. We're going to go over it a few times and then just like, hang on to that. Remember it. We'll call you in later. So it was just like a kind of like a dance work session, which was cool. Um, had another call back. And then I think my final one was scheduled for, it must have been like February, early February. And the weekend or the week before, I was getting really, really sick, which probably in hindsight, I probably had COVID. I was like, oh no, I hope I can like just get through this. And they ended up rescheduling it, which was, wow, such a blessing. I mean, I wonder if other people had COVID as well. Yeah, rescheduled it, had the final callback. As I was on my way home, I got a call from them saying like, "Hey, come back and like Justin wants to sing with you for a bit, like a one-on-one session with Justin Levine." And then on March 9th of 2020, my manager called and said they offered the role. And then March 12th, Broadway shut down. So it was kind of a crazy time.
Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
so many people's like we've had quite a few guests on here, fortunately, and so many people have been affected by COVID. Like it's just how much like, oh yeah, I got this, and then COVID happened.
Mhm.
It's like, oh no.
It was so, and we were supposed to open in October. And the nice thing is that like they would send out emails and information every couple of months, but never once did they say, we're not sure. It was always, this is going to happen. We just have to keep pushing it. So that was like the light at the end of the tunnel, I think, for me.
Because I remember like in end of 2019 or something, they announced like we're going to London, we're doing Australia in like September of 2020, obviously in March. And like I mean London and Australia didn't end up opening till like what, August, September of 2021.
Yeah.
So I do remember like them announcing that and the tour, and then obviously COVID ruined everybody's plans.
Yep.
That was not a fun time for you actors. That was pretty horrible. Um, anyway, so my next question is, what is your favorite song, scene, or moment in the show? It doesn't have to be one that you're in. It can just be whichever one is like your favorite.
I think at this point, like there's so many wonderful things about this show that like it's constantly changing what my favorite thing is artistically and to do and to watch. But I think right now and kind of throughout, like my favorite moment might be in the consumption junction scene where like we finally see Satine coughing up blood, all of that. And it's a very serious scene and it's like really emotional and really sad and intense. But the Lady M's are fools. We're fools. We do foolish things and we try to make each other laugh all the time. And even when we're not trying to, we always know like that's the moment when we're probably gonna try to make each other laugh. And so even sometimes just like looking at each other in the eyes, it I have to look away. I have to look down because otherwise I'll break and I'll ruin the scene. But that is like I don't know. That's my favorite fun challenge of the show right now. Just knowing what is happening and like trying to keep the integrity of the scene while also being a complete fool.
I love that. I honestly
Yeah.
love that. I would also break if I was like one of those people that like in any performance I would just like look at somebody and we would just break.
I laugh at serious moments. I just know I'd be there and I'd just be like,
Here's something really fun that happened the other day that I think nothing will ever beat. Um, so in that scene when Le Chocolat says, you know, not just the show, the club is finished if the Duke pulls out, but her mic was off at that point. And so Robert, playing Seidler, tried to save it, like make sure the audience knew what was being said. And he said, Satine won't let the Duke pull out. And then you saw on his face, like, oh no, what did I just say? And the audience laughed.
oh
That was
my
probably
God.
my favorite thing that's happened in the past 2.5 years. It was so funny.
Oh my God. The audience were like, wait a second, what show
Wait,
are we
Yeah.
like
watching right now?
Like the people who know the show know that that's a mistake and think it's hilarious. And the people who don't know the show, they're like, is this a funny moment? Okay, we're having a funny moment in this serious scene. Like,
It's so funny.
it's
I
so
love those
good.
moments. We had I was at the show back in July and it's when Satine dies. Very sad moment. Spoiler alert. And someone coughed. Not coughed. Someone laughed. So Satine, while you're in the world, and then she falls on Christian, and someone was like, ha 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 ha. And I was like, I like looked around, and I was like,
Like what?
okay. I mean, everyone's got a weird, guess you got a weird sense of humor.
Right.
But
you
yeah,
know, everyone deals with tragedy different ways.
yeah,
So
humor helps trauma. Maybe that was that person's thing.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Gosh. It's always the phone alarms too.
It's always the phone alarms. It's always when it's always at when Satine dies. It's always at like either like 10 or 10:30.
yep,
And it's just like, she dies and then ding ding ding
yep.
ding. And I'm
It's
like,
dedication.
yep, I'm like, okay, take your birth control. I'm like, all right,
Totally.
turn it off, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
It's so
So
funny.
I was actually gonna ask what your favorite stage mishap was, but that's probably up
Oh,
there.
there's another one I can tell you though that always tickles me when I think about it is a couple months ago, right before, like in Diamonds, right before the Lady M's go on stage, Max, I think it was maybe the first show in a city, and so like the changes can kind of be like a little tricky with the new dressers and everything. So he wasn't there yet, and right when we start singing, we usually hold back for a few bars, but my brain was just like, well, I guess I'll go because Max isn't here and then he'll catch up. But I went early. So I was like, when they're doing that, and we are living in a material world. And when the Lady M's aren't on stage, I was like frantically kind of like, should I stay here? Should I go off stage? And then Max followed me on because he saw me on and didn't realize we were not supposed to be on stage. And that I don't think the audience noticed. I think it was crazier in our heads than in our bodies, but it felt like we were in an opposite world and everything was wrong.
Hey, we've had some really funny. I mean, like Tyler, we just had Tyler on here, and he mentioned about on tour, like he had a mishap with like his costume. And he's like, "I'm supposed to be on." I was like, "Oh my God." Yeah, I have too much anxiety for that. I was like, I couldn't do that. So, actually, speaking of costume, what is your favorite costume that you wear in the show? It can be either like Arabia or Satine, like whichever one.
I think Satine's Green Fairy is just so unique and cool and beautiful. Um, and Arabia, that one also switches a lot. Um, I did just get a brand new like opening corset, so I feel like she's my favorite right now. Because she's just the freshest, but they're all so cool. Like there's people even now who see the purple like Shut Up and Raise and Bad Row corset who are like, I didn't realize you have a heart buckle on your corset. Like after a year, like there's such detail and such beautiful aspects to every single one of them.
Sting's Green Fairy is the best. I
Yeah.
wish we saw more
Yeah.
of it.
I
Like
know.
we only see it like so quickly. It's so beautiful. I mean,
That entire
uh,
scene is my favorite
oh,
scene. Just because like
chandeliers.
the aesthetic of it, beautiful. It makes me cry every single time.
It's amazing. And then how it just merges into Roxanne is just so well done.
Oh, I
I love
know.
it.
Just seeing him like standing there and all of a sudden
I'm
everything.
like, yeah, break my heart. Like, just crush
Ugh.
it. That's what it feels like when
Ugh.
we watch it. I'm like, here we go, heartbreak. Oh, the Green Fairy is so beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The costumes in general are just so beautiful and like
incredible.
detailed. Like, yeah, like we talked to Andrew Brewer, who plays the Duke, and he said that the Duke's like when he's in his place, like that whole scene with Satine, like that coat is navy blue and not black. And we were like, huh?
I know we were like gobsmacked. We were like, wait, what? Like, it's not black? He was like, no, it's blue. And we were like, what?
It's just the lighting, the with the lighting, it's so cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so my next question is what has been your favorite city that you've been to?
Um, that's, I mean, there's been a lot, so it's kind of hard to pick, but I will tell you my most surprisingly awesome city that I've been to so far is Omaha, Nebraska. I would have never in my life ever thought to ever go anywhere in Nebraska because why would I? But turns out you go to Omaha and it's eclectic and it's progressive and like there's great food and cool people and like stuff to do just in the right snap dag in the middle of the country and it just who knew. I feel when we were there, everyone started calling me the mayor of Omaha because it was like, oh yeah, you got to try this chicken sandwich there, and if you go out there on this night, there's like a speakeasy, and over here, like this breakfast. Like I saw all of Omaha and I loved every single inch of it.
That's so funny. I love
Amazing.
it. I love
Nebraska,
it.
good job, Nebraska.
Not been to Nebraska. I'll put that on my list. You have to give me recommendations.
Isn't that where Andrew Reynolds is from?
I have no idea.
I
Only
think
you
so.
would know that information, Lily. Okay, so let me see. Oh, okay. So do you have you've been in a few other shows, obviously. You've not made a Broadway debut with any other shows. What makes Moulin Rouge so different to like any other show you've been in?
I think it is really, really great about creating the world, creating the universe that is what everyone experiences in the show and bringing that into the audience and making you as a patron feel like you are a patron of the Moulin Rouge and you are these people's friends and you are like you know these songs because you sing them with them at the club like it I feel like it's kind of an all-encompassing show. They really really did an amazing job of that and every single element works together so well. The songs, the sets, the lighting, the costumes, the arrangement, like everything just kind of like perfectly melded to create this incredibly cohesive universe.
I really like that because like the opening number alone, especially at the Owl Hirsch because they have the passerelle, it just when you're in Can, you're just like very immersed. And I mean, even without the passerelle, like again, like that opening number and the pre-show as well, it's just like you walk in and you're like suddenly transported into 1899 France.
It's so neat.
Amazing.
It's
Love it.
yeah. So my next question is how excited are you to make your Broadway debut with Mulan?
I'm so excited. I was not expecting this at all. This is a complete surprise. I was ready to go back to New York and be unemployed for a while and just like sit in that. So like I don't know. I feel like I've worked for a long, long time and I figured it'd eventually happen. And I feel like it's such a gift. Like, this is the best gift that this show could have given me is to, like, here's a little cherry on the top of your experience. You're going to Broadway. Like, I don't know. It's huge. It is
So
funny to me, too, when I tell people sometimes, Like my cousin texted me the other day. She's like, "Oh, what are you doing next?" I said, "I'm doing the show on Broadway." She's like, "In New York?" Like, yeah, I guess there are, streets named Broadway all over the world. So, yes, the New York one. But like to people in the industry, people who know theater know it's huge, and it's really special.
Yeah, it's that is we're so excited for you. Like
Hey,
Mhm.
thanks.
we love seeing that kind of stuff. I'm going to next week. Is it next weekend? I'm going to Sunset Boulevard, the first preview,
Cool.
and that is so many people's Broadway debut. So many people are going to be making their Broadway debut, so I'm so excited. Just it's as an audience member, like you kind of get like really, you feel really like, I don't know, like you're watching someone's Broadway debut, like this is such a big moment for them. So I think like even as audience members, you're excited for them too.
Oh my God, that's gonna be such
Um,
a wonderfully energetic show.
right. So my next question is, what is your dream show or dream role?
I think I've been really lucky to play several of them in my life. Velma in Chicago, I've gotten to do, and Sally in Cabaret, two of my very favorites. I even got to play Mimi in Rent, which I would not do now. It wouldn't fly now. This is a long time ago. I am a person of color, but I am not a Latina person of color, and so I don't think that's great. But I'm glad that I got to do it when I did. Um, I think I would really love to originate something to like fully like flesh out and create a brand new character for the first time.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, original characters are so like fun, and you get to like dive deep into what
Yeah,
you like. It's your own take on it, and
yeah.
like it's just and that's it, you know.
Right. And
Yeah.
then that thing gets like passed down too.
Hmm.
Yeah, like you originate this role and then like, you'll like you are the person who did this role. And then
Right.
it's like passed down like, like that's super exciting.
Hmm.
Um
We do a lot of
well,
manifesting on this
we do
podcast,
a lot
so
of manifesting on the podcast, so we will
we'll
manifest for
manifest
you.
that for you.
Cool. Thank
Yeah.
you. Appreciate it.
Um what
She almost has the dogs.
sorry, give me just a second. Please keep the interview. I just got to really quickly let these dogs out because they might kill me.
You're good.
So
I'll ask the next question. So, the next question that I have, because it's a personal question for me, is I have a certain song from the show that follows me everywhere. Do you have a certain song from the show that follows you everywhere?
Oh, well, God. It's kind of everything. What did we hear? We heard Jungle Boogie. I went out to dinner with some of the girls tonight and we heard Jungle Boogie. And it's like, that's not a song that you hear a lot. But just like as soon as it starts playing somewhere, like, oh, we're back in the show. That, and I think I hear Toxic a lot, pretty much everywhere. Yeah. But
Yep.
like all of them too. I think there is a list on Spotify or somewhere of like somebody's compiled of all the songs that are pulled, like Moulin Rouge has pulled from.
I'm sure there
And
is.
there has to be. And I know I've heard so many of them, but there's like a lot where I'm like, it's just a few words and I'm not exactly sure what song it is. So I want to like go back and hear all the originals again and be reminded of like, oh yeah, this is why they picked this song because it's like so cool and iconic.
Yeah, all the songs are like so matched together so well too
Yeah.
that you're like, oh wow, like you don't think that's gonna work, right?
Mhm.
And like especially like the Rolling in the Deep to Crazy. It's like I
Yeah.
didn't think those two songs would mash so well, and then they do. But
Yeah.
yeah, the song that follows me everywhere is Firework by Katy Perry.
Sure. Yep. Didn't she
Always.
sing it on the Grammys recently?
I don't know. Was
Maybe
it
what's happening
VMAs?
to my
Maybe
phone?
it might have been VMAs.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Sure. Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that song follows me everywhere. It's always like right before, right after I see the show. So like it just it's such a great environment. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna hear that in about 30 minutes.
my apologies.
Do you have a song from the show that follows you everywhere?
You know what? Lately it's been Shut Up and Dance.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's been it changes. It changes. Sometimes it's that or sometimes like Rolling in the Deep, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you walk into a store, I'm like, it's so bad. I went to go see a film recently, and in the film it had the song The Dukes, Money, That's What I Want, when he's like, and I was like, I was sitting there, I was like, this is a Millerish. I had to like, I was with my friends and they've seen the movie, but they've never seen the show. So if I say that, they're gonna be like, what? But I was just like, this song's in Millerish. Yeah. I
Some of them
say
that are so different from the original. It is fun to hear like the originals again, be like, oh yeah, that's what that sounds like.
Yeah, because like I loved the movie growing up and the soundtrack. Me and my sister used to like recite the movie lines and stuff like this, like growing up and stuff. We loved it. So watching the Broadway version for the first time, I remember being like, wow, like it's so similar, but it's not. Like it's so many different things that have happened, and I love it. I mean, like the Duke, they gave the Duke a glow up in the Broadway.
They did. They really did.
I really love that too. Like it really
Yeah.
does make her choice very clear that like she could pick this handsome rich guy, but she loves Christian.
Right.
Yeah, like it definitely puts that pressure on her. She's like a little bit more like, oh, now I got even worse of a pressure because they're both good looking.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
Um,
remember when shoot. Okay, so it was in 2019 and I had seen the show in August 2019, like a week after opening, which was so cool. And this was on Broadway and I was like obsessed with the show. Like I was so excited for the cast album to come out. I was like, yeah, this is great. And I go to the first hockey game at my college of the season, and they always have during like the I want to say intermission, but it's not intermission. It's just like the break time in between the three periods. They always have the figure skating team come on to do like a performance, and I'm listening to the music that they're skating to, and I'm like, okay, like this is Diamonds Are Forever, right? Okay, and then it goes more into it goes into Diamonds Are Girl's Best Friend. I'm like, okay, right. And I was like, maybe it's like the movie version. Then they went into Single Ladies. I was like, this is Broadway version.
Yep. Yep.
And I love it.
Everywhere.
classic. Love that. It's like the Olympics this year, didn't they? They did like a
They
bad
did.
romance
Yeah.
gymnastics thing, and I was like, yeah. I was like, hell yeah. It follows us everywhere. Um, so let me see. Okay, so what is obviously you said how it's been difficult, traveling, everywhere. What's been your favorite part of traveling for the tour?
Honestly, just seeing different, like discovering places like Omaha, Nebraska. Just seeing other places that I just wouldn't otherwise, and finding the good in a lot of places where you think it's going to be boring or scary or bad, and just find it like people live everywhere. And a lot of them live in this place by choice because they love it, no matter where it is. And then finding those things that are lovable about a different city is really, really cool. And I feel like for me, it makes me feel like a lot closer to just, I don't know, like everyone's humanity. It helps me understand it a little bit more. Getting to see people from all walks of life come to see this show, people that you maybe wouldn't expect to enjoy it or even be interested. It's kind of, yeah, it's eye-opening. It's a little humbling sometimes, but yeah, just seeing as much of the country as possible, and experiencing what different I don't know, neighborhoods, cultures, everything city is like.
I really want the tour to go to Lima, Ohio.
That would be
At one
amazing.
point.
It would just make so much sense.
I
It would
know.
just make so much sense.
Exactly.
Give the
Yeah.
people what they want.
I know, like when I saw it in Cincinnati, like that line specifically just made the audience laugh so much. And I go to the Broadway show like pretty much. And whenever I'm in New York and I'm sitting there and he says Lima, Ohio, I get like a couple chuckles, and most of the laughter is from me because I am from Ohio. And then I go to Cincinnati and it's like an uproar of laughter, and I'm like, oh my God, people understand it.
I get it.
It's also fun seeing the show in like different, areas. Like Lily's seen it on tour and in Broadway. I've seen it on Broadway. I've also seen it in London. I saw it in London twice this year. And obviously I'm going to the tour soon. So it's also fun to see it in different places, not just Broadway. Because watching different people's interpretations of the role as well. So like in London, they had the carousel, but the stage is smaller. The seating where the Duke and Christian and all that sit is actually it's shorter. It's not as high up. Like there's definitely like different little things that you notice. And just even like just staging to just characters and how they portray it. It's so much fun watching. I love watching different. I've been really lucky to see quite a few Christians and Satines and Arabias, and just watching people's interpretation of these iconic roles is it's really fun for us. And like you said, different walks of life. Like my dad is not, he likes theater, but he's very selective. Like he's not like me. And I actually took him to see Moulin Rouge. It was his first Broadway show.
Oh, wow.
And I was so nervous the entire time. I was like, he's gonna hate it. Like, I know he liked the movie, so I was like, okay, I'm already in there. Like, he liked the movie, so hopefully he's gonna like the Broadway show. And the whole time, that whole first act, I'm like looking over at him, like trying to pay attention, but I'm looking at him, and I'm like, does he like it? Because like I bought the ticket, like we're all this, we're like second row. I'm like, please like it, please like it. And it got to intermission. I looked at him, I was like, so like, what do you think? Oh, he's like, oh, I love it. I was like, oh.
Oh, thank God.
I was
Amazing.
like, oh, thank God, because that would have been an awkward flight home.
I have a tendency to bring my friends, and they've like never seen the movie, they've never seen, the show, don't know what it's about. And so then I don't give them anything. Like I don't give them any information. I just let them go in blindly. And the the way that like, I bring the tissues, so I'm prepared because I know that I'm a crier. I bring the tissues, and they're like, I just hear them sniffing, and I'm just like, here's a tissue.
That's right.
Expected this to happen.
Gotcha.
Goodness, yeah, the tears come at the most weirdest times as well. Like I've
Yeah.
cried during opening because it was like
Me
so
too.
many people were leaving,
Hmm.
and like it was like Courtney was leaving and Derek and all these people, and I remember it was opening and Clay came on, and I remember like there was like a group of us and we were all just like crying during opening. I was like, people around us probably think we're so weird that horns is on and we're just there like, oh my God. Tears coming down our face like during like this happy opening, and we're just like crying our eyes out because like it was such a, especially seeing people leave and stuff, it's always so sad. So but yeah, so okay, is it your question or is it my question, Lily?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this. So we love thinking about this, like a what if and like what happens next, because it's so open, Moulin Rouge. Like it's so open to see what happens next because we don't really know. Like there's no like, that's it, it's the end, like done. So what do you think happens to the Moulin Rouge and the people in the Moulin Rouge after Satine dies?
So, okay.
She has a whole story.
I mean, I've thought about this, and I don't know if I've completed the circle in my brain, so we're going to figure that out right now. But like, we start the show, the pre-show, we're in the Moulin Rouge.
Mhm.
And then we're kind of flashing back to Christian coming in for the first time, seeing the whole thing. And then we cut to present day when he's like, okay, we're starting the show. And this is the show he wrote. He told their story. That is what, like, I feel like he scrapped the play that he wrote. He's like, no, this is what I wrote was actually based on what is real, and why not write what is real? So what we're watching and what we're doing is the show that he wrote. So I feel like it's kind of, for me, it's like an endless loop.
I have never thought of it that way. And I think
Me
that's just
neither.
changed my whole like brain chemistry now.
He says,
Yeah.
tell our story, and he does.
Oh, that is so that, oh my God,
Mind
Nick,
is
you're
blown.
genius. You're genius.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've
I've been
never
here for a long time. I've thought about it a lot.
But you know what? Now you say it, like, it makes sense. Because, like, at the end, she's like, tell our story. Like, you know, so we'll always be together.
The woman that you see on stage is Nini playing Satine because
Yeah.
she knows the part.
Yeah. It's not Satine because Satine is
Yeah,
gone.
And then
And
somebody
like,
else is playing Nini.
exactly.
and then, well, is Christian playing Christian, or do you think it's like someone else playing Christian?
Oh, interesting. I think maybe he'd be big-headed enough to play himself.
Yeah. Maybe at the beginning it might not be. Maybe he's still a little bit like hurt. He's like, I don't know if I can do this straight away. That is, I've never seen it that way. That is amazing. I love that.
Doesn't explain what the Duke says. He says, "We'll see about that," and then we never do.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like,
But maybe he's like he has a change of heart after she dies and is still the investor.
maybe he's like, oh, damn, that sucks. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll keep
I'll
going.
just go find another whore.
Yeah. He's like,
Or
meh.
maybe because it is like if it is a retelling of like Satine and Christian's story, Christian just wanted to do the Duke dirty.
Ooh.
Yeah. Maybe
Oh.
he's trying to make the Duke out as a bad guy. That's why he says what, like, he wrote in what Nini said about the whole,
Right.
he was found in the
Wait,
sun,
wait,
oh, a bit of
Jules.
foul play or something. Like,
Because if you really think about it, Christian is kind of like he's not the most sympathetic character. And so
no.
he has to write in a guy that's worse than him. So he writes in the Duke.
He's like, I gotta make a villain. It can't be me. It's like, who else should I write? Maybe the
Oh,
Duke
this is
wasn't
getting
as
better and better.
yeah. Maybe the Duke wasn't as bad, as he's portrayed, but Christian
Because
was
it's
like,
theater, though. You
Yeah.
gotta make it dramatic.
we're gonna make it dramatic. So let's say that he killed a guy, and let's say that he like did this, and I'm like, oh, mind blown.
Wait,
We're
and then
gonna
that's how everything like what Nene said, because it's all hearsay, basically.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
you never know. Because he
Mm-hmm.
allegedly did all that stuff.
I like this version. This is great. We need to pitch this.
Yeah.
This is the real meaning. So we had Tyler on here, and we were like, what do you think happens at the end? And he goes, I think everybody dies from consumption. And then he was like, the encore is just, we're just the ghosts of the Moulin Rouge.
Because
was like,
that explains the Duke being all happy, go lucky.
well, you're a ghost.
Yeah, we still do have to, on the flip side, think about the reality of like apparently 1 in 5 people gets tuberculosis. One of the girls in our cast, Tamron Goldberg, her dad like works with like tuberculosis studies and she can tell you more. It's very, very fascinating. But he had like a little fireside chat and we learned a lot about tuberculosis, which is consumption for those who don't know. And it's still, very prevalent today. And 1 in 5 people doesn't mean you're going to like have huge symptoms or die from it, but is affected or infected by TB. So like I have always known when sometimes another fun little backstory in Consumption Junction when I'm trying to take it seriously, when she's like, yeah, I went to the doctor and it's consumption. I'm like, as Arabia, maybe that's why I've been coughing. Oh no.
Well, that's how it's like a airborne thing. I know a lot of people were like, I think Christian probably has consumption and the Duke because she kissed both of them. I was
like she
could be
slept with both of them.
yeah, you know what was going around those days.
Mm-mm.
So it could be consumption, and who knows? Yeah, doesn't mean, like you said. I mean, back in 1899, obviously the medical, it wasn't as advanced as it is now. TB, there's definitely a lot more they can do about it. Compared to what they could do in 1899. So some people are like, maybe Christian, writes a story, but Christian eventually like dies of it. So I'm like, there's so many loopholes.
We
But
may
that's
never know.
by far my favorite one is it's actually, he wrote this story. He scrapped Bohemian Rhapsody and he said, this is the story. Love it.
But also Bohemian Rhapsody kind of mirrors what Moulin Rouge is.
Right. He's like, this is the story I was writing before, but right, it was based on reality, so we went with reality.
Love that.
I love that. I love that. My mind is blown now. Should we go on to fan questions, Jules?
Yeah, absolutely. So
I'll ask the first one.
Please do.
So somebody asked, what is the most challenging part about playing Arabia or Satine? And they also wanted to let you know that they loved your performance.
Wait, what was the second part? The most challenging part, and then also what?
Oh, they also wanted to let you know that they loved your performance.
That's very nice. Thanks. They both have their challenges. I think Arabia is there's so much energy. Like the Lady M's, I think, are the party starters and the party keep goingers. And keeping that up and staying excited. It used to be the can. I don't have to do that. Well, I haven't had to do that anymore. I'll be back in it again. So I'll look forward to that being challenging again. Um, yeah, I think the energy for Arabia and like she's so full of life. You can't kind of have like a medium day. You kind of gotta go all in every time, which is good. It's a good challenge. And then for Satine, it's it's emotional. You have to let yourself fully get there in a totally different way. And so to have that arc of like playing this strong independent woman who was also like hiding this really debilitating horrible disease and hiding her love but also like really truly being in love and pretending to be in love with somebody, like just all the aspects of that, and then actually physicalizing her sorrow and her sickness, like that's a whole lot of stuff to deal with in one show.
I agree. And she's always singing, so it's like you're doing a triathlon
And the
vocally, and
coughing.
then I'm coughing, yeah. And it's a lot. Like she don't get a break. Um, I don't know this
I saw this
question.
question. I was like,
So this person asked, where and what is the best donut you have had?
Ooh, okay. Let's see. Oh, the Donut Vault in Chicago was my favorite one in Chicago. There's so many really, really, really good donuts there, but that's just like a tiny little hole in the wall spot. And I am a sucker for an old fashioned donut, like the ones with a little ridge on the outside, just glazed and simple and amazing. And that maybe was one of my favorites that I've ever had. And Cardigan Donuts in Minneapolis, fantastic. And I also say Dochi in Denver, the mochi donuts. Those are the first three that come to mind that are really spectacular.
I love donuts so much.
oh my God, me too.
Oh, the best. Like the best.
Who doesn't love donuts?
Go ahead, Lily.
I was just gonna say, like, when you get to Broadway, there's Schmeck's Cookies right
Schmackeries.
down the street.
Schmackeries is
I can't wait.
their cookies are like the best. I'm not really a big cookie lover, but then I went to Smackeries and I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
this is it.
right. Right.
One question I do have. If you could take one prop from the show, what prop would you take?
Ooh, that's fun. Ooh, there's so many. The sword would be cool. One of the swords. Um, yeah. Maybe. Oh, you know what? No. Okay. It's something that's on, like one of the ensemble people who like is kind of a wardrobe person and just in the tour moves a platform in rehearsal scene too, and that's it. But she has this like little like pocket chain thing, and it has tiny scissors and a tiny little notebook and a couple other tiny little like wardrobe things on it. And I think that is like a really cool, specific detail. Um, that, that, and the sword would be my second choice.
That's so cool.
I would take an absinthe bottle.
Ooh.
This to have it on display.
Or the cup. I like the cup too.
The cup too. Yeah.
I would probably take this is a funny one. I would probably take Ziedler's like baton thing. Then it has like the thing,
yeah.
and he's like,
And he pours
yeah,
a
the
drink in
cane,
it.
and he pulls
Oh
it.
yeah.
I would have that. I love that.
Yeah.
Just whenever you get a quick drink, just pour it.
Exactly. It's like a flask, but it's in a cane.
That's a real good conversation starter at parties.
Right.
It's like, where'd you get that from?
The drink?
Well, Lily, do you have any more questions to add?
I do not.
No, I think that's all my questions as well. I think again, thank you so much. I know you just got to Detroit, so you're like ready to sleep. I know you guys got like to perform tomorrow and everything. So thank you for taking, I know traveling is tiring. So thank you so much for coming on here. And
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
yeah, we're so excited.
We're excited for
Well,
your Broadway debut.
we're so excited for that. And then whatever you do next, like we can't wait as well. It's gonna be fun. Or just take some time off and just like relax. It's been a lot. I mean, you've been doing a lot for the last 2.5 years.
Those
So
can kicks are no joke.
they're brutal.
They're brutal. I was supposed to go to Italy with my boyfriend, but I guess I'll go to Broadway instead.
Fine, I guess I'll not go to Italy. Italy's amazing, though. If you do get the chance to go, you gotta go to Italy. So much fun. Maybe when you go on your break, you can go to Italy.
Yes.
But yeah, that's everything I have. Thank you so much again.
Fun.
Lily, anything to add?
No, just thank you. This was fun.
Yeah, it was so much fun. So we can't wait. Have a great last week on tour.
Thank you. I'm gonna soak it up.
Yeah, of course. And we will see you soon.
All right. Yay. Thanks.
Bye. Oh, that was
Aw,
so
that was so
sweet.
fun.
She's so lovely.
Yeah. We're so
Well,
excited for our Broadway debut.
so excited.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that was our interview with Nicci. So sweet.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be back next week with another Can Talks episode
Lovely ABC and Jules.
with Lily and Jules. Jules and Lily. Jilly and Luz. All right, everybody. We'll see you again.
Bye, guys.